just a little bit of context. Deakin University, we're based in Victoria, and we have campuses stretching from Burwood on Wurundjeri lands through to in Melbourne through to Wadawurrung country in Geelong and Warrnambool on Gunditjmara country. So we're Fiona and Brad, and we're joining you from Wadawurrung and Wurundjeri country respectively. And we'd also like to thank Angela Gleeson for her contributions to this presentation. In our day jobs, Brad's a scholarly services librarian, which is an outreach role supporting learning and research activities with a focus on the humanities disciplines, and I'm an expert searching and consulting services lead. And today we're going to share with you a key response of Deakin Library to the developments of what we're seeing in terms of the impact of AI, new resources, new ways of doing things in our clients and in our roles. Our response has been the launch of the Library AI Lab and work that we're undertaking in AI evaluation of resources with a focus through our library areas of expertise. So, Deakin Library has been responding to the AI developments in a variety of ways. And a key response has been to, as I just mentioned, to launch the Library AI Lab. And the lab's been designed to drive ethical and human-centred AI innovation in the library and to share our insights to support broader understanding of AI across Deakin. So alongside our day jobs, Brad and I both have part-time secondments to Deakin Library's new AI Lab. The lab grew from a recommended action from a project in 2024, which explored current and evolving impacts of AI on Deakin Library and our staff, services, processes and products. And by building domain expertise and fostering collaborations, our AI lab helps to shape informed, confident and context-aware use of AI for our communities. So overall, the AI lab's objectives are to facilitate cross-institutional collaborations and knowledge sharing platforms, to enhance open communication with our staff about AI, to provide learning opportunities, and most particularly relevant for today, evaluating potentials and pitfalls of AI tools using library areas of expertise. So that's what we're focusing on today. Just briefly, our lab has 5 team members. So Kat Kane and I are co-leads, Emeka, Anili and Brad are coordinators, and we have Meg Bullock as our officer as well. So we're cross-directorate and we're set up just for this year to enable this principled AI engagement through our library areas of expertise. The remit of the lab has been quite broad to enable us to respond to emerging opportunities, and the library identified a need to bring evaluative judgment to AI tools and functions that our users are engaging with or that are beginning to roll out across our existing resources. As part of a human-centred response to emerging tools and new AI functions in traditional databases, Deakin Library's AI Lab has developed an AI evaluation process through a library subject matter expert lens. So this is an opportunity to lean into our expertise in searching, in metadata, copyright and digital literacies, and to consider the implications and considerations of the different tools. So what are these AI evaluations? Brad, just one more slide ahead as well. What are these evaluations and how did we get here? The way our users find and interact with information is changing rapidly with the emergence of these various AI discovery tools and platforms. So we're seeing a change in both user information seeking behaviour and adopting AI for searching with the emergence of AI search engines like Perplexity and AI research assistants like Elicit. The vendors of our products are responding by introducing new AI functionality like natural language searching, AI summarization, and their own versions of AI LLMs like Scopus AI and research assistants like ProQuest Research Assistant and AI functionality in EBSCO platforms. Some of these are search enhancement technologies, some are text summarization tools. So our identified need for this evaluation is to look at the risks, benefits, and to support evaluative judgment and library staff conversations across the university. And our new service provides a rapid evaluation of AI tools through our areas of expertise. Our AI evaluations were sparked by the release of Deep Research by OpenAI in February and an interest in exploring this platform from a library perspective to inform our senior leadership, but also for library staff and clients to use in their decision making and to help inform discussions across the university. So we take an evidence-informed approach. Deep research was the next game changer in the ever-evolving AI world. And as often happens in the commercial market, other companies release similar research report style functionality. And Carlos mentioned this earlier in his presentation. So around this time, Google released DeepMind and Perplexity released their own version of deep research. This functionality generates a detailed research report in response to a research question prompt and uses a wide range of sources and shows reasoning as the report is generated. The AI lab was tasked with developing processes to evaluate AI platforms and functionality with a subject matter expert lens. So we knew that the library has these areas of expertise and position us perfectly to explore these emerging platforms. There was a need to inform both our senior leadership team and the library more broadly as we have these wide-reaching conversations. But as we started to work on the evaluations, it quickly became apparent that our broader client base would benefit from our work and in an evidence-informed approach to decisions their own decisions about AI platform use. Our evaluations don't provide a rating or a ranking, but instead we provide strengths, limitations, and considerations and implications of the tools. So our goal is to inform, not to endorse. Initially, we explored what we could find about deep research whilst we waited for access to the tool. So at the time, it wasn't yet available in the freemium version, but that has now become available. So we gathered external information about OpenAI as the provider, what we noted about the benefits and limitations, and as we progressed, began to establish the key areas of expertise to build our processes around what we should be looking at to draw upon for an evaluation. Because at the time we didn't have access to the actual access to deep research, we ended up switching to Elicit as our development vehicle. So Elicit is an AI research assistant tool. So it's a discovery tool. It surfaces studies from a natural language research questions, and it also has a research report and evidence synthesis functionality. And it sources most of its content from Semantic Scholar, and it's widely used by our students and researchers. It's freemium, so it became an ideal candidate to use as our pilot evaluation. And as we worked on our first evaluation, we kept Deakin's Gen AI Principles framework central to the process. And the library had also been instrumental to the development of that framework. So each of the library's areas of expertise is mapped against these principles. We developed a clear template with instructions to support the process and to enable the evaluations to be conducted independently of the AI lab in future. So we've been onboarding staff across the library to conduct these evaluations. It takes a 4-step approach. It's conducted by 2 people to help minimise bias. And the first step, it develops an overview of the platform, and it includes information about the vendor, including vendor transparency, cost and access models, primary functions, and alternative tools or alternative or similar functions in other products. Identifying alternative platforms with similar functionality has also provided us with a source of ideas for future evaluations, which is just growing ever longer. And it will allow us to make comparisons between platforms in the future. This particular stage shouldn't take any more than about 30 minutes. Step 2 involves evaluating the platform through our areas of expertise. Each area is mapped to, as I mentioned, to the Gen AI principle, so it firmly grounds the process in the Deakin Gen AI framework. Here, the reviewers note benefits, limitations, notable points for each area of expertise, and we call on specialist expertise such as copyright as needed. And we've used AI ourselves in this process to concisely summarise the notes from the evaluator. So this step shouldn't take more than about 3 hours per evaluator. Step 3 is the analysis. This is where the report starts to take shape and includes a headline key advice to distill the key takeaway from the evaluation to help users make informed, reflective decisions. It also includes the summary findings, the high-level snapshot, and considerations and implications. So this is the so what of the evaluation. It helps to unpack the potential implications around strategic questions or tensions, ethical, pedagogical, or scholarly implications, impacts on digital capability, and train the trainer. And this takes about 2 hours per evaluator. We also introduce peer review into this step. So this brings an additional fresh set of eyes to provide suggestions or improvement or to note anything that the initial 2 evaluators have missed. And then step 4 is the report. So the report is produced as a PDF report, complete with cover and an index, including the concise summary from the areas of expertise. And the finalised report is then shared by the AI lab with our senior leadership team and formatted for our public facing guide. And this is what our very first report for Illicit looks like. And we've had some iterative development as well. So over to Brad now.
Thanks, Fiona. So this is a preview of our LibGuide, which is how we're going to promote the AI evaluations to the wider university. I'm just going to get out of the PowerPoint for a second and show you the live preview and run you through a couple of the things we've evaluated and what it looks like. So we've got the usual LibGuide pages, the home page, which introduces and outlines the guide. We've got a page on our approach to the evaluation, which Fiona has just taken you through. And then we've got the actual evaluations, which people can look at. So we've done consensus, some AI functions built into EBSCO. We've done Illicit, as Fiona mentioned, some AI features in EndNote and also in ProQuest. I'll briefly go through the EBSCO one. That's the one I was most involved in. And you can see the sections of the report we provide. So the key advice is the overall summary. And then we have a table with an overview. And this is all according to the template. The table there is built into the template. And summary findings, so a snapshot, benefits, limitations or risks, and notable points. So the notable points are things that may not necessarily be benefits or limitations or risks, but are things that we think that someone who's considering the tool may want to know about in their evaluation of it and their judgment of whether they're going to use it and in what way they're going to use it. And the considerations, implications, we really unpacked what we think the impact of this tool is going to be for our user base and also for libraries in general. And then down the bottom, we've got a bit about the currency, the evaluation, because this is a very fast moving area, as you well know. And so we say when it was first published, when it was last reviewed, and then we have a schedule for when it will be reviewed again.
Brad, if you've got a sec, can you just whip back and maybe zoom in a little bit? Just the resolution on the screen is a little bit small for some people.
No worries.
Thanks.
I'm not using my usual monitor, so it's a little bit of a different resolution than I'm used to. So I'll just scroll down through it all again while it's a bit more zoomed in.
Thanks, Brad. Looks great.
No worries. So what have we learned and experienced during this process? What's worked? I think drawing on specialist expertise in the library has been really good, particularly people in copyright that have a lot more knowledge about that area than us, and other things like metadata. People with those expertise that really know that area thoroughly can provide us with better advice. Upskilling staff has been really important. And it has a few effects. So it increases the knowledge of AI products across the library. It increases people's skill in AI evaluation. And it means we can resource this sustainably, being such a small team, and also being on fractional hours, then we only have limited time that we can devote to the evaluations. There's just so much to evaluate. Having the templates means there's going to be a level of consistency to the evaluations. People aren't just going to go off on their own tangents and put in whatever they feel like. So there is a template, but people do still have freedom to come up with their own insights and implications as they see it when they evaluate the tool. And having a co-reviewers and peer reviewers is important for that reason, because everyone looks at things a little bit differently, and having someone to discuss the analysis and the evaluation with helps to really refine what you've put in the evaluation and make sure it's going to be useful and relevant to people who are reading it. And as Fiona mentioned earlier, our focus is on informing, not endorsing. So we're not saying use this tool, don't use this tool. We're just providing people with information about the tool so they can use their own judgment about whether to use it at all, and if they are going to use it, when and how they should use it. So what's emerging? One of the really big things emerging is that there are AI features in so many database platforms and bibliographic software. Everyone's joining the AI race to put tools in. Searches are becoming heavily AI assisted. summarization, and also vendor suites such as Clarivate Research Assistant and Elsevier's AI products. So what are we learning to work rapidly and not get caught in the weeds? So Fiona did provide some timelines for how long it should take, and sometimes some of us might get a little bit involved in the evaluation and take a little bit longer. So rapid can have varying interpretations to different people. We need to sort of be aware of getting that out quickly and not just getting, because it is interesting work, so we can get caught up in it. We need to make sure that we keep moving and get those valuations out quickly so that people can look at them. We have learned we don't always need everything in a template. So when it's an in-product feature for a vendor that we already subscribe to, and there's already licensing for the materials inside it, we may not need to look at some things such as copyright in as much depth as we would if it's a tool that's not actually in one of the platforms we subscribe to. And the significance, P is less than 0.5, I had to get a nerdy dad joke in there. So we're informing our community to support discussion and decision-making, bringing together information from different sources to inform our senior leadership so they can focus on the key information. This will allow them to make the decisions they need to make. And so we, as I said, we provide the information, then they make decisions and strategic decisions about the tools and how that affects the library landscape based on what we provided. So we leave that to the people whose job it is. The capability of staff is also really important. So it helps people in roles who are on the front line who are going to be getting asked questions about AI, who might be asked to present in classes about AI, and helps them to really keep across the tools and be informed about the strengths and weaknesses of them. And it also serves as a precursor for other area evaluations, so digital services, maybe providing evaluations that they may take the information that we've already generated and use that as a starting point so they're not working from a blank slate. What's next? We're going to make that LibGuide live at some point to publicise the evaluations across Deakin, and also outside of Deakin it will be publicly available. The prioritization framework is really important because there's so many tools and we're probably not going to be able to evaluate them all. So we need to have a framework to decide which ones are a higher priority and which ones are a lower priority to be put further down the list. We'll continue to upskill staff and build more evaluations, so that list is going to grow longer and longer, and also go back and update the process. So even now, you might have noticed we had a ProQuest AI tool evaluation. When we looked at that this week, there are also extra features built into that tool that weren't there when we did the evaluation, which is why it's important for us to note the date that we did the evaluation and make that public so people are aware that we evaluate the features that are there. And then in 6 to 12 months, we will then do a new review and evaluate whether there's improvements to the previous features, and also look at the new features and evaluate those as well. And I think this one's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to it, to go back to deep research where we started and complete that evaluation and see what that tool can do and what it can't. One other thing that we are going to do, which I think will be really helpful, is a lot of our users are going to be undergraduate students or postgraduate coursework students who'll get assignment questions. So we're building a bank of questions that have typically been a little bit difficult for users to develop a search from, and they haven't necessarily got great results for. And we're using those to test a lot of the search functionality to see how it compares to a traditional Boolean search in our databases and also in Google Scholar.